Congratulations to Blue Scapegoats for winning the Protagonist Drawing Contest. Be sure to check out their Tumblr down below. It is linked in the description for some awesome fan art. Hello everyone, it is Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. This time I will be discussing things you missed and things you didn't know about Yugioh GX. I did this for 5Ds already and will be doing it for Zexal and Duel Monsters at some point in the future. I'll be going over some fun facts, some strange mishaps, and some intriguing records that you may not know about in the Yugioh GX anime. My goal is that you learn at least one new thing from this video, and I look forward to hearing from you guys down below in case I might have missed a cool Easter egg or factoid, which I probably will miss at least one or two. Anyway, did you know that Bastion makes a brief Season 4 appearance, one of these females possibly make a cameo in 5Ds, and that one of these Season 0/Duel Monsters characters has a pretty awesome Easter egg in GX? These are the things you didn't know / things you missed in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime. I hope you enjoy. First off, there was definitely a lot less calamity that went on behind the scenes of GX than 5Ds, so this list will be a little tougher to make, but without further ado, let's dive right into this. And let's start with Bastion, or Daichi Misawa, in the original. I usually use the original names, but Bastion is just a lot easier for me to say, so that's how I'm going to refer to him as. Now, he is one of the most intriguing characters in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, in my opinion. Someone who seemed like he was going to be Judai's main rival, or at least an important rival. He was literally tossed away after he dueled Judai in episodes 20 and 21. After that duel, it seemed the writers just forgot about him entirely. Take a look at this clip from the first opening and notice the two dragons. Water Dragon, which is a monster that he used pretty often in GX, and what you would presume is Fire Dragon. However, he never uses this Fire Elemental Dragon the entire show. Is that maybe proof that he was intended to be a lot more important to the GX anime? Sure, there are times things don't always happen that occur in openings and endings, but seldom. In fact, I'm not sure if there has ever been another incident where a character was shown using a monster and just never used it during the show. Only other incident I can think of off the top of my head was Dark Magician in Season 0, but that was Season 0, which was a completely different company. So the fact that they seemingly scrapped a few duels Bastion was supposed to have in which he would have used this Fire Dragon is pretty telling about what happened with his character. Now, Bastion was one of the few people to stay behind after Judai defeated Bell, which was at the end of Season 3. However, his character does, believe it or not, seem to make an appearance, a brief appearance, in Season 4. So take a look at this image and tell me if you notice anything. This is an image shown during Judai's duel with Darkness, or Night Shroud in the dub, and I'll circle it in case you don't see it, but this really does look like the outline of Bastion. So even Bastion, who was in another dimension, was not safe from sinking into darkness as well. He is definitely one of the more intriguing characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX show, and it really is a shame just how much wasted potential he had. So let's move on to the infamous Season 4. There was a point in time when you could type in, "Will they ever D?" onto Google, and the first suggestion, the most typed in suggestion was, "Will they ever dub Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 4?" Even beating out, "Will they ever do a Friends Reunion?" which was an extremely popular show back in the day. The only reason I know about this is because it was the first thing I typed into Google when I was younger, after realizing that there were more episodes after 155. That's right, the final episode of Season 3 was never dubbed, along with 24 episodes of the final season, Season 4. Now, there are a lot of rumors and theories as to why this season was never dubbed. Some say the 4Kids team felt it was too dark, some say they were being rushed to dub 5Ds, some say there was a lawsuit going on between 4K and TV Tokyo, which resulted in them terminating a Season 4 dub. So what's the real reason 4K chose not to dub Season 4? Why would they choose to just end the show with Judai seemingly dying and sacrificing himself for the sake of everyone else? Well, while Season 4 was a notably dark season, and while a lawsuit did take place between 4K and TV Tokyo, the lawsuit wasn't filed until 2011, 3 years after GX concluded. The real reason, according to an official 4K statement, is that they chose to dub Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds instead. The last dubbed episode of GX aired August 28th, 2008. 5Ds in Japan started April 2008. I suppose if they chose to dub Season 4, it would have taken at least 25 weeks on the one episode a week basis, and by that time, they would have been over a year behind on Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and I guess they didn't have the funds or the means to dub 5Ds and Season 4 at the same time, which resulted in no English dub for Season 4. While I think the campfire stories of Season 4 was too dark for them to dub between the O'Brien duel, the blood rituals, and all that good stuff, 4K just couldn't do it, is actually really cool, but let's be honest, let's not kid ourselves, we have seen some incredible, and I do not mean that in a good way, censorship in the past, and I'm sure they would have made it work. But yeah, blame 5Ds for Season 4 of GX never being dubbed in English, or maybe we should thank 5Ds. I don't know. You guys let me know if it's maybe a blessing in disguise that we never got a dub of Season 4, or if it's something that you would have liked to see. Anyway, let's move on. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX does have a few interesting records that I compiled. For instance, Asuka Tenjoin or Alexis Rhodes in the dub has the most on-screen wins out of any female character in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. She has a total of 8, and while 5 of them are against opponents we only see once, you still have to give her credit where credit is due. To compare her to some other females, Aki from 5Ds has 6 wins, Yuzu from Arc 5 has 6 wins as well, and Mai from Duel Monsters has 5. Those are the top 4 unless I'm forgetting someone. Will this record last forever? Maybe the female from Yugioh 6 will have something to say about that. A record that will last forever is the next one I'm going to mention. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX has the least amount of openings and endings with only 4, which makes no sense considering it has about 30 more episodes than 5D, Zexal, and Arc 5. Duel Monsters and 5Ds both had 5 openings and endings, while Zexal and Arc 5 had 6. The real crazy record though, one that will never be broken in my opinion, is how long the second opening of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, 99% by Bowl, lasted. This opening ran from episode 34 all the way to episode 104. This opening lasted 70 episodes. For that matter, so did the second ending. Nowadays, openings and endings are lucky if they last more than 26 episodes. This one lasted for almost a year and a half. I am pretty confident we will never experience that again, and this is a record that I would be shocked if it was ever beaten. Let's move on to one of my favorite things, and that is Easter eggs and cameos. We're fortunate enough to get quite a few of them throughout GX. The first one I'm going to start with is something I alluded to earlier, that one of these girls makes an appearance in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, or might make an appearance, and this was something I should have frankly put in the 5Ds one, but watch this clip and tell me if you notice anything. So did you see her? We'll slow things down, but I guess her career as a duelist really didn't pan out. Now again, is this actually Ray or Blair in the dub? Who knows, but my goodness, it looks just like her, doesn't it? This was actually something pointed out to me after I made the 5Ds video, and I just figured I would put it in this video. It's a really, really cool Easter egg, whether it is Blair or not. And again, going on the basis that 5Ds is maybe 15 years after GX, she aged magnificently, considering she looks the same exact way as she did in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. So is it actually Blair? Who really knows? Some cameos of Duel Monsters characters that appeared in GX are Para and Dox, the Paradox brothers or the Labyrinth brothers in the original, who dueled Judai and Sho in episodes 10 and 11. Pegasus also makes an appearance, and we were even lucky enough to see him duel against Kronos and Napoleon, or Crowler and Bonaparte in the dub. The most well-known cameos are, of course, Seto Kaiba and Yugi Moto. We even get an appearance from Atem during the duel between Judai and Yugi at the end of GX. We do get to see Kaiba and Atem's decks in action as well. One of Judai's losses is to Kaiba Man, who isn't exactly Seto Kaiba, but uses Kaiba's deck. A character named Dimitri steals and uses Atem's deck in a duel against Judai. We also get an Egyptian god cameo. The Winged Dragon of Ra makes an appearance in GX as well. Even though Franz uses a stolen copy of the card, it's still extremely powerful. Judai is able to not only overcome it, but use it himself and defeat Franz with it. Speaking of Egyptian gods, it's pretty obvious that the 3 levels of Duel Academy are based off of them. The lowest being Slifer Red, middle being Raw Yellow, and top being Obelisk Blue. I know those are dubbed terms, but it's just easier to put it that way. So how did these rankings come about? Just an assumption here, but Kaiba opened the Duel Academy, and maybe he's still bitter about what happened with Yugi, and since Yugi used Slifer, he decided to name the lowest ranking Academy duelists after Yugi's card, while naming the highest ranking students after his card, Obelisk the Tormentor. I kinda like that theory a little more than just saying he named them based off how strong the god cards are, but I mean, that's not really a fact, that's just something that I've always liked to believe. Well, the last thing I alluded to in the opening was that one of these Season 0/Duel Monsters characters has an Easter egg at some point in GX. Last chance to guess. It is Miho from Season 0, believe it or not. Let's take a look at this piece of paper, which is the list of Truman's and Darkness's victims that O'Brien reads while doing more research on what's been going on regarding the disappearance of people. There are so many Easter eggs on this list. Most of them reference Season 0, funny enough. The first name, and one of the most notable ones, is Miho Nosaka, who was one of the main characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 anime. Some other names, I'm going to speed read this while showing the pictures on screen for reference, include Tomoya, Kuji, Goru, Ushio, Hajime, Karoku, and Risa. I probably just butchered the Japanese language, so I apologize, but besides Tetsu Ushio, all of these names are references to Season 0, which from a continuity perspective is awesome, because even though Season 0 is a standalone show and a standalone universe, this implies that all of these characters do exist in the main Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, and were just never shown in Duel Monsters. So Miho, who barely had a role in the manga but was, for whatever reason, a major character in Season 0, does exist somewhere in Domino City during Duel Monsters, while Yugi and Anzu and Honda all embark on their journey. It would have been cool to see her make a brief cameo in that show, but I guess this is the next best thing. A pretty awesome Easter egg, especially for Season 0 fans. So guys, that concludes this segment of things you didn't know and things you missed regarding the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX anime. I warned you in the beginning this would not be as long as the 5Ds anime, and that's maybe a good thing, because the 5Ds anime was an absolute mess behind the scenes, but regardless, I really hope you enjoyed, and again, I hope you learned at least one new thing you might not have known regarding Yu-Gi-Oh! GX after watching this video. I will be doing Zexal Arc 5, probably Duel Monsters at some point in the future. Let me know down below if there are any other cool factoids, records, Easter eggs, cameos, anything like that in GX that I failed to mention. I thank you all, as always, so much for watching. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have a wonderful day.